everybody and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to do something a little bit different, as I haven't I'm not going to show how I build this model because I did it before I was actually recording these kind of models, but I'll be reviewing the Gloster Gladiator I built last year, and then I'll take you through it a little bit. So the Gloster Gladiator, like if you do some research, and I'll try to add some material, some links, was an aeroplane that was designed and it flew for the first time in the 1930s and was pretty much the predecessor to the Hurricane and the Spitfire that were then famous in the Battle of Britain. And although it was a biplane, it did have some success as a front line and then also second line fighter. So it did have actually some success, not only for the British Air Force, for the Royal Air Force, but also in other air forces later. What I do remember is that it was key in the defense of Malta. There were 3 of these airplanes that were deployed there, and they were named Faith, Hope and Charity, I believe, and they were actually responsible to fending off the whole Italian Air Force. So there's some heroic stories from that time that I'm sure you can look up. As of now, I still haven't flown with this one. It's the first one that I did as a scratch build and RC conversion, and I did spend quite a lot of time on it. And as a result of this one having taken me so much time, I decided then to build a Spitfire that you might see on another video, to see if I can fly the Spitfire first. So the Spitfire didn't fly too well, as you've seen, and this one I'm not sure if I'll be able to fly it soon, like depends on the weather, but I haven't flown it yet. So if you hold out, I'll add at the end my experiences flying this model, and let's see how that goes. But before that, I'll go into the details of why this one and what and how and all these things. So stay tuned. And this is the plan for the Gloster Gladiator that I was working on. It's a relatively small plan, which is good. It was also part of my intentions, as I didn't have much space, and I still don't have much space to build these things. The key reason to do this, or the several reasons, one of it, it's a scratch build, which I like to do. They're more difficult than the kits, but because you have to cut every single piece out, and the kits nowadays they come with a laser cut, which is very nice to work with. And this was actually much more difficult. It had some challenges, especially the challenges for me were how to integrate in the engine, how to move the tail surfaces, how to make the tail surfaces and the ailerons. I'll then maybe review it later, but I put ailerons just on the lower wing, not on the top wing, just on the lower wing. Other challenges were also around the planking. There's some kind of planking here, which I was very intimidated by it. The canopy, so a lot of different challenges that I'll try to go in also in detail. I tried to do it as an RC conversion, as I say. This model is originally for rubber powered, and I said no, let's go, if we're going to put so much effort into it, let's go for an RC conversion, and let's see if I can fly it. I always think that if it doesn't fly as RC, then it's maybe easier then to convert back into rubber powered, so it's also a possibility. It's one of the Towner models, so if you see here, it's by H.G. Towner, which I'm kind of going down that collection. Its designs probably, or the drawings are from the 1940s, I expect, maybe 1930s, I'm not sure, but quite old ones. So that's those are the key reasons for going into this one, and it also looks quite good one. For the materials, as you see, so it's balsa wood. It's mostly 1mm and 1.5mm, and then tissue. So there's the whole structure in there. To build it, I had to first of all build a box frame. Let's see if you can see it here. This is kind of the design of the box frame. So there's a box frame, and around it I had to build in the let's say the shape of the fuselage. And here we have the indications of where the longerons would go. I never know if it's longeron or longeron, but that's how it would go. Then, so I built the lower wing. I think I built it first. I then had to adapt, as I mentioned before, to put in the moving parts. So the ailerons you see there. These are the ailerons with. I put the hinge at the bottom actually, and it seemed to have worked quite well. And then I adapted. It's not scale. It's not completely scale, but it's at least workable. So that was okay. And then of course I covered it also with tissue. A part that I'm also quite proud of, I've got to admit, is also the engine cowling. Even if it isn't perfect, I managed to put there some nice chunks of wood let's say the round piece at the front is one single piece. It's a 9mm thick balsa that I carved out, and then I put the cowling also around. Again, not exactly scale as it should be on the plan, but I'm actually quite proud of it, so it was quite good. And that's basically what we have on the materials and on the design build, right? So a lot of little details, then also the control surfaces in the back, the landing gear, which is made also of wire with wood. So a lot of little challenges along the way. I do remember building it. It took me easier 2 months. I'm not sure how long, but it did take quite a while, and I was thinking constantly, so how am I going to overcome this new challenge and this new challenge? So that's part of the fun of the whole building of these models. For the RC part, what I did, I used the P51 Mustang technology, I'm going to say. I don't know if you can see it in there. The propeller is the same. You can see also a bit of the gearbox. I even made some holes for ventilation. If you're looking through the canopy, we might see also the servo. It's in there. And I'm not sure if you can see actually then the ESC ever so slightly. No, I don't think you can see it, but it's in there. There's the ESC. So I use that same technology. So then I have also the push rods coming out here at the tail. And for the ailerons, I invented a system which I'm not sure if it's good enough or not. We'll see when it flies. So it's a very simple wire connecting the aileron and the servo. So I'm hoping it works. I'll then show you then also how it moves, and we'll see if it's going to be enough in flight. So I'm using that technology because I have the transmitter, even if it's not one of the standard RC technologies. But then at least I save on that material until I figure out if this is something I want to continue or not, or if I want to upgrade them to a more, let's say, professional level of RC controls. If I go a bit more into the details and into some of maybe the modifications that I did, as I mentioned, I did the modifications of the tail surfaces and the moving parts. I also came up with an idea of having the lower wing as something that can be separated, not for space, but in case I have to get to the ESC. That's what I was thinking at that point. I have those two colorful rubber bands that maybe are not very helpful, but maybe in flight it might help me know what's the top and what's the bottom. Then to take the lower wing off, I also put in here a mechanism. I don't know if you can see it there, with some old staples, some hooks. Let's see if it focuses. Not focusing. There it is. These are actually some staples that in theory I can take the lower wing off. I don't plan to do it, and I hope it doesn't just rip off. So those were some of the challenges. In overall, I'm positively surprised that it does seem to be, let's see if you can see it like that, the wings do seem to be quite parallel, which I was positively impressed by. I was hoping for it, and it did work. So I do hope it flies well. And I would say then the worst part of it is the canopy. I tried to do some molding with it. I took some plastic, I tried to soften it over the toaster to try to get the shape. Not too good, very openly. I still have there something to learn about making the canopies, but maybe it works enough. So that's about the, let's say, those challenges that I was overcoming. I made also a lid here for the battery. Let's see if I can take it off, which sticks in with a magnet. You can see the magnet there, and there's basically the battery compartment. So, and now I've put the battery in, so I'm going to see if I can show you the mechanism. So you see the propeller does turn, which is good. And then let's try the control surfaces. So these will be the ailerons. They move ever so slightly. If it's enough to influence the flight or not, I think it will be. I hope it will be, as it is quite light. It came out at around 100 grams, which is kind of double of what I wanted. But I'm hoping that being a biplane, it has also a bit more lift. So let's see if I'm right or not. Let's see if we can see also the elevator. The elevator does move, which is good. And then the rudder also moves. So I think from this perspective it's better than maybe some of my later models, as it is quite a clean move. So from that perspective, let's see, I've got to be careful that it doesn't fly off the table. So I'm just a bit worried about the ailerons, if it's going to be enough or not. It's also got the stabilization in the ESC as the other models, as the Mustang. So let's see if that's going to be enough. I just realized actually as I was doing this that two of the struts have come unstuck, so I'm going to have to fix it. A bit more time to put in there, so I'll fix that. I'll do a bit of a run up, I'll play about with it to see if it's in shape, and one of these days when there's a bit of better weather, then I'll try to take it out and see if I can at least taxi it around and show you how it moves around. So, after the first flight of the Gladiator, which went, I would say, surprisingly well, bearing in mind it's the first conversion I was doing, and actually on a scratch build. If you remember, I did the Spitfire so that I wouldn't break this one on the first attempt, and actually the Spitfire flew much worse at the beginning until I managed to fix it up. Things that have caught my attention. First thing, now you can see that the skin on the wing, so the ape is quite tense. When I went out onto the field, it immediately wrinkled up. It was evidently much more humid, and now I can't really remember if I doped it. I think I didn't, and that might be the difference. It still flew, but it was not as nice and taut as it is now. It was really very much wrinkled up. Problems that you might have seen on the flight, of course, then the landing gear fell off on the first landing, which I have to fix. But that's something kind of I expected it. Worst thing was that I could only turn left. I could not do a right turn at all. I was trying, but the ailerons, they didn't have enough travel. So I've taken off the lower wing already, and I'm looking into, let's see how I can fix the travel of the ailerons so that it does turn more to the right. Maybe also the mechanism that I have is just the two wires here that let's see if you can see it. Actually it's maybe too simple, also with the bend of the wire and things like that. Maybe it's too simple. Have to see. I'm going to see if I can put in a bigger servo arm in there. Where is the servo? Actually no, I can't, because it's built in, so I can't really change it unless I take the canopy off. So not sure how to do that. We'll see how I do that. But at least to fix up the ailerons and let them move easier, that's going to be the important thing. And then other details, an important detail, yes, I think you can't see it in flight, but the battery lid opened up and it was flying like this the whole time, so up. So I'm going to see if I can redesign that and put maybe the magnet on the back, at the back, and the hook at the front. Let's see if I manage to do that without breaking the wing off. And just one small thing also, the control horn of the rudder also got unstuck. No big deal, as the rudder is rarely used actually, at least I still don't know how to use it. So quite a few things to improve. Overall, I'm happy with that first flight. It was actually 3 flights. Then the first one where I broke off the landing gear, then I just flew without the landing gear, but it still flew. And then on the last one, if you notice there, I could control actually the speed or the throttle, so I let it come down gradually, and it did a semi-soft landing, which I'm satisfied with. So some homework to do before the next flight, but for a first flight, as I say, was good. So stay tuned. I'll try to fix this up and see if I can record in the next maiden, which hopefully will be even better. Let's see. So I've put the Gladiator on the mini stand, not just to be cool, but because the undercarriage is still drying. I might have over-engineered it. You can't probably see it, but I've put there some more pieces of balsa to keep hold of it. I have not managed to change the arm of the servo because I would have to take the cockpit off, so I'm going to leave that. Let's see if it works. And for the battery cover, I'm also going the cheap way because it's also quite a lot of work. I'm just going to put a rubber band there closing in the battery cover. Let's see if it flies or not. Some more weight indeed, but I think it'll cope. And let's see if it dries, because I think tomorrow morning maybe the wind will also be calm and might be an opportunity to go flying. So let's see how it goes, and I'll show you when I have the results. Upper wing full collapse, all struts have come off, damage to the landing gear, and I still declare this a success. Why? I managed to do 2 full takeoffs from the ground and 2 crashes. One, it allowed to do another takeoff, the last one ended up like this. But I think the damage is repairable. I'll have to take things apart again and see how I can put it together. Strengthen again the landing gear. But overall it did manage to fly. I still have the problems of turning to the right, which I did manage to overcome using the rudder. But if I would have to do it again, I would have to find a way of getting more throw on the ailerons, or maybe a wider aileron, maybe another section of the wing might have helped. Another option might be to put the ailerons also on the upper wing, like on the rail thing, but that would be very complicated. But still, stable flyer, slow flyer, as it's a biplane, which is nice. Nothing at all like the Rail Gladiator, but overall a success. Being the first RC conversion I've done, I'm really happy, and now it's going to be back to the workshop to fix it up. So thank you everybody for watching and for following on this story, and be sure to subscribe and like and leave me your comments and any tips and tricks that you might have, and I'll see you in the next video.